Hello guys, so why I went almost completely vegan. So what I do is I eat 5 to 6 days vegan, then one day I eat sardines or these tiny fish, small sea fish I think they're called. Okay, it's a little bit like sardines but tastes a little bit better. So what I get from the sardines and with the tiny sea fish is the B12, the omega, and so forth. So I don't need to supplement because I take those. That makes to me the most natural sense why I cut back literally 5 to 6 days. Dairy and no dairy and no meat whatsoever. Those 5 to 6 days, mostly 5 days. But what I noticed here is here comes the super important story. So I fucked up my colon, to say it very bluntly, by eating meat and dairy. I ate a lot of meat that messed up my ascending colon. I ate a lot of cheese, messed up my sigmoid colon. And if you do that over a long enough period of time, you don't get the butyrate or whatever you want to call it, this kind of thing that ferments and nourishes the colonocytes, the colon cells. Basically, you deplete that over time if you eat only meat and only animal products. So, and it's quite easy to switch over to food which which basically feeds that fermentation, which then leads to the butyrate, or whatever you call it, that which feeds the colonocytes. So health reasons, number one, health reason. And after I think like 2 weeks eating like that, I already feel a little bit better in that way. I go 2 or 3 times on the toilet per day, which before just was once, maybe twice, but now it's definitely always 2 or 3 times. Um, so that's positive as well. Then there is the point of frequency. Everything has a frequency. The animals, the dairy, the plants, everything has a frequency. And if you think about what frequency you kind of want to harmonize with, what kind of frequency you want to have in your system, then the choice is pretty clear. If you're at least a little bit spiritual and you think about these frequencies, it becomes super clear. So, and then also when you eat vegan, you cannot just eat vegan, you must eat clean vegan. That means like non-pesticides, non-herbicide, non-insecticides, fruits, um, organic, non-processed vegan food, etc. So it's not just vegan, no sugar, less wheat, etc., etc. You know the drill, less sunflower oil and stuff like that. So I'm doing bodybuilding on a vegan diet, so I need to eat protein. So I do have vegan protein shakes now, to make it a little bit simpler, and because otherwise it would be kind of difficult. But they're kind of tasty. So I got V protein, for example, which is kind of expensive, but if you think about it, like one per week or two per week of those comes out to, let's say, if you take 4 by 15, 60, so you come out at 120 euros more per month for eating a lot of that, vegan protein, which is not that bad because you always have to up your expenditure if you go into bodybuilding, whether it would be meat or these vegan proteins. So it always bumps it up by 100, 200, 300 euros easily. I'm not taking creatine right now. I'm thinking taking a little bit more creatine. Creatine, I always forget it. But for me, it's more of a remembrance about the creatine. Creatine, as far as I know, is vegan. Not sure. I would have to look into that. What kind type of sources um, creatine comes from. So enlighten me if you know this. But I will check just after this video. And then, of course, the ethical part about not wanting to hurt animals, and not outsourcing that violence to someone else naturally. That would be like investing in a war. Like, I'm a pacifist, but I'd love to invest in wars. And, yeah, so that doesn't work. So there's many, many reasons to do it. Spiritually speaking, energy healing speaking, the frequency is the most important. You want to invest in a frequency that is higher harmony. Higher harmony is self love. So there's no question about that. So if you have only a little bit of sensibility towards frequencies and vibrations, then the answer becomes pretty clear. Now, as I said, I do eat 1 or 2 days of the week. I eat that small fish, and it makes perfect sense if you think about it from a nutritional perspective. Vegans would be hardcore, and they would be like ultra vegans would be like, you cannot even eat fish. But then you have to supplement. There is no other way around it. So that to me logically doesn't make sense. And I think we're pretty well equipped to deal with at least a little bit of fish, even environmentally. Ethically, you can argue against it, but I don't think. I think there's much more concern and reason to say, okay, I'd cut down over 80 sorry, 90 or 98% of my food, to not eat meat, um, uh, and that's already a big, like, if everyone would be able to do that, that would be already a major shift, like a major shift. Um, yeah, so I wanted to share that with you because that's something that's really starting to become part of my process, of my daily process, and I'm literally starting to feel the benefits of it. Um, we will see what happens as I continue because it's been just a short time, so it will be interesting how it develops. Um, you know how this all started is first I met someone who's very vegan and kind of was able to easily convince me because I am very aware of things and can change my behavior very quickly. So that was one thing. And the second thing was learning about the butyrate stuff. So about the health aspects, which most people don't know about really. So that made a lot of sense. Then reading about the frequencies again made a lot of sense, especially since in my book I write about things like finding your highest harmony, manifestation potential, and so forth, which means you have to follow the higher frequencies, the highest harmony, the self-love, etc. And how are you going to follow self-love if you consume uh, something that an animal that has been violently killed? Makes no sense. So there you go.